Hey everybody, wow, welcome back. Day 2 of the Qualify Your Food, Qualify Your Life challenge. It's more of a series. But I am gonna lay out some challenges for you guys each and every day, just a little bit of a, hey, try this out. So yesterday, I just wanna recap a little bit of yesterday, and I really hope that some of you were hearing, the weight of what I was saying. Not just me, but I listen to the people that they're on the leading edge of all this and really starting to understand how detrimental. And I'm gonna just tie in from the last few things that videos that I've done, that it's really, pesticides are killing us. They're destroying our immune systems. And it's always kind of how it goes where, there's this big hoo-ha in government and they find out some terrible injustice, and then they form a committee, and then they investigate it, and then they get the scientists in, and then they figure it out, and 3 years later, after everybody's dead, we might actually get some legislation on all of these terrible, like I said, billions of pounds of pesticides that are made in this country and distributed all over the world. And I have mentioned before that most of the world, they've already been regulated. So anyway, that's just me. I'm the rebel, not a sheep. I'm yelling from the mountaintops, and I'm fighting the industrial food complex. But I really am doing this for the benefit of everyone. It crushes me to see so many of my friends and my family. My mom was just diagnosed with stage 3 kidney issues. And she's one of those people I talked about that, been going to doctors for years, and it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, there might be an issue, but you're all right. And she never really got second opinions. And now they're like, oh, hey, this is a real problem. All of a sudden, the numbers haven't changed. I look at the labs. It's just someone's opinion of what's right and wrong. So I guess I'm just reiterating, you really have to be your own advocate here. You have to do your own research. The amount of people that is 1 in 4 dying of one of these major diseases caused by food. So I was really just calling everybody out to do some self-analysis, and I hope that you did. Just kind of look through what you were eating yesterday and just do your own little qualification. So that, and I challenge everybody to just do the gratitude thing. I mentioned yesterday, I set an alarm. When I wake up, it's the first thing I do, show my gratitude. I have one that goes off at 1 in the afternoon, in the middle of the day. And when I take a meal anymore, I've discovered a whole little ritual practice that's helped me assimilate my food better. I know it. And that's some of the things that I teach my clients. But we'll get into that too. I'll have a day on that. But actually, I want to get into our topic today is water. Okay. And water isn't food, but water is more important than food. It was amazing to me when I've studied nutrition, and in my coursework, you call the macronutrients, and there's the 5 different categories, your minerals, vitamins, minerals, blah, 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 blah. I'm sorry, fats, protein. Okay, I'm schooling myself here, but I'm getting myself a little ahead of myself. But basically what I'm getting at is water is a macronutrient. We need it to survive. you get caught out in the desert somewhere, you're toast if you're stuck, I think it's 3 days you can go without water. You can go a month without food. That's why we have fat stores. But you cannot survive with water because it's used in 80% of all of our bodily functions. It's used by every cell. Water composes about 80% of us. That's what I was getting at. And 80% of the earth, by the way, that big ball that we live on. So I read a statistic that about 90% of people that are obese are dehydrated. There was a study done on that. And that makes a lot of sense. In my, with my previous weight loss clients, that's the first thing to do every day. Drink water. And, the fact of the matter is that cells have, respiration and all these different functions going on. And there is specific waste that's, accrued in our body during the day, especially in our lymphatic system. That's a good avenue to get rid of waste and toxins. And we need the water to flush that out. The more water we have in our system, the more ease that our body is going to have to do its daily functions and not go into a state of, you guessed it, dis-ease. That's where we get that word, disease. So it is definitely necessary in every function of our body. And it's just common sense 101. But we forget. We get so caught up in, and I'm the worst. I really am. I am really bad. I literally every morning sit down and force myself to, it's the first thing I do. I have my little gratitude thing when I wake up. I drink a bunch of water and I have a little meditation practice. Down the road, we'll get into that in a few days. But I guess the best recommendation really that anybody's come up with is take your weight, cut it in half, and then that's how many ounces that you should be drinking daily. I was drinking that like in a week. No, I wasn't that bad. But especially if you drink coffee or anything with caffeine, that's very dehydrating. It's just really one of those things. I know a lot of people that take, they have to take diuretics because they gain. I mean, that's a whole different area. Something you need to take up with your physician. And specific ailments, that cause edema. There are different ways of combating that and drinking your water, and so that's really something. But I'm saying by and large, most of you, this is not medical advice, most of you really are probably not drinking enough water. So, like I said, 90% of the obese people are dehydrated. That's a very solid study done a couple years ago. So here's your hack for that for today. That one's an easy one. So do half your pounds and ounces. That's all you need to do. For me, I set it up. I've got a little gallon every day, and I got it marked, and then I break that down into 4 little empty, quart bottles, and I carry them around with me through the day. I drink a crap load of herbal tea, and so that has its other benefits, that I get along with that. Plus something flavored. That was probably my biggest problem, and I was never a soda drinker. Never. I love sparkling water, put a little flavored stevia in there and you still get the benefits. So those are just some ideas. Well, so I want to take this, that's just the physical part of this. Now I want to go to the spiritual, emotional part of water. And I want to talk about how water has, just properties of physics. It has negative and positive ions. You know, it has a different, you know, a charge. And there was a scientist who's Japanese. I think he's passed on now, but Dr. Emoto, and he basically went through and did a study. It was years that he did. He wasn't just a scientist. He was a businessman. He did a lot of things. He was a really cool guy. And he went through a massive study where he would have specific entities of water, and, you know, he had, you know, a control where they're all kind of the same. And basically he would, like, he'd say he'd have a jar of water and it would have, you know, a positive connotation to it that was something that was, you know, directed at this water. And I'm actually gonna, there's a cute little YouTube video that somebody made about it so you understand it, but I'm just giving the basics because I want you to understand the concept that a charge, you know, in our realm can be influenced by vibration, which is energy of wavelengths of energy moving through the field space. And it goes back to, like, when you say, and I have spoken about this before, where, you know, somebody walks in the room, you just don't mesh with them. You know, there's just, it's like, oh, got bad vibes, or, you know, something like that. And I mean, that used to be a phrase from the 70s, but man, I'll tell you what, I'm all about it, because I have recognized that energy is in everything. Energy, our entire world, there is matter is made strictly of energy. We are just spinning little pools of energy. You know, the way we see things, the way we, you know, our five senses is really, it's not about matter, it's really about energy. So anyway, this experiment that he did, basically he subjected to the water to negative or positive energy, emotions, titles, etc. And then he froze the water, and then he examined the crystalline structure of the water. And I mean, it was overwhelming, the difference. And you'll see that if you download the little YouTube video that I'm gonna attach, you know, with mine on the bottom of this. In the notes, that's what I meant to say. And it's stunning. You know, the structures were so much more organized and beautiful and structured, and you know, sorry, I'm having a hard time words today. That's my little head injury thing, but I'm gonna make it through here. So the structures were beautiful, as opposed to disjointed, and ugly was the term that was used. And I thought that, I mean, that was just fascinating, first time that I read something about that. And he also did a study with rice, that's in this little video as well. And where he had same control, same amount of rice in two different jars with two different, they were brand new jars. And then he put this equal amount of rice in there and then let them go for a couple months, because rice does have bacteria, fungus, all that stuff. But here's the thing, and this is even way more interesting to me. He labeled the jar. One was love, one was hate, I think one was ignore, and let them go. And then he would spend, I guess, 60 seconds each day, and he would berate the one that said hate, you're not worthy, and all those things. And then with the love jar, he would speak to it and nurture it, just like people say they got to talk to their plants and their plants thrive. I mean, hello, we already knew that. So what is behind all of this? When you think about I remember years back, there were so many, all of the orphans in Russia. In fact, my cousin traveled to Moscow, and he adopted a little gal from Russia. And I remember the story, how there were some babies that there weren't enough caretakers for them. That's why they were trying to adopt. There was such a huge movement for it, because there were all these babies and they were just languishing because they were ignored. Didn't have anybody there, and a lot of them died, and it was a phenomena. So we're all on this planet together. We're all interconnected. We all need love, and words matter. They do. Everything in our subconscious. I talked about this yesterday. If you tell yourself, "Oh, I'm starving to death," and I'm just, you just become more hangry, because you're telling your subconscious to keep revving it up. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference if you're telling the truth to it or not. So, words matter. The words you use, if you're describing someone, be more kind, and it'll be more kind towards you too. Anyway, that's a whole different story for another day. but it's relevant, and these dumb little things, they really make sense. And there's so many people that are going through their life, like I said, on the outside of the onion, and that is my life coach hat. Story for today is the words matter. Because those rice molecules, when you look at them, I challenge you to, just take a few minutes. It takes, I don't know, it's like 2-3 minutes. Got some cool music, but you can see the difference, and it's not bunk science. This was a bona fide guy. He wrote a couple, actually it was like 2 New York Times bestsellers. So he's got some street cred. So I just wanted to bring that up, because even though this is supposed to be qualifying your food, qualify your water. Don't drink tap water. There's a little bit of mercury and fluoride, and people's old prescriptions, and so much stuff, so much crap in tap water. And then there's the big trend too about whether or not you have to drink the pH, the higher pH, the alkaline water. And, the jury's out on that too. There's a big rush for it. Oh, you gotta drink alkaline. But that's not always the case. Not everybody is low pH. Cancer cannot survive in an acidic environment. So it's always good for anybody with, issues like that to start thinking about doing a more basic and get their acidity down. But, you can go to CVS. They have little test strips where you can find out if you're acidic. It does change a lot from, time to time. But if you do it over a course of a week, you'll have a better idea, But definitely drinking an alkaline water is usually helpful. But for me right now, I'm just going with a really good spring water. Something that comes out of the ground with its own minerals in it. We need those. So we need those trace minerals that come with the water, and that's what makes them taste good. So if you're drinking, I don't know, what Dasani, or all that is water that's been through an RO. Fuji, they put it all on the packaging. It looks all great, and it's just more pure BS. Okay, use your common sense. That's what this whole thing is about. So I know that making all of these changes is a daunting task, and there's so many different areas, and that's why we're just trying something each day. Going back to that, when you want to address someone, be kind with your words. I'm gonna go over again. I got 2 quotes here. I'm big on the quotes. And I've used this one before too. Albert Einstein, the most important decision you'll have to make in your life is whether or not you live in a hostile or a loving world, okay? You be the rice, okay? You decide. You can bring that loving or that hostile to you according to how you are. That's law of attraction. And then I'm getting back to that. Like I said, I'm asking you guys to take a lot of information in and make a lot of decisions. I mean, it's totally up to you. You know, if you had a chance to do your accounting and say, whoa, you know, wow, everything that she's telling me not to eat is on that category. You know, the oil thing is just really more brutal than anybody knows. There's so many new studies that are coming out about that. Anybody with any kind of heart issue. Avocado, coconut, and olive oil. Stick with those. Stick with those. So I seriously hope you guys are taking me serious. That's serious. Seriously, hope you're I really do, because I mean, I care for all of you. Some of you I haven't met, but a lot of you are actual, you know, Facebook friends of mine from way back. And that's my mission, help my people. I love that speech by JFK, and I remember one time in English I misquoted, so I'm really famous for that. So please don't bag me on the quotes, but I'm giving generalizations. But in JFK's speech where he said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Very famous speech. Maybe like a couple phrases before that, he talks about going to the moon, and he said, we don't strive to go to the moon because it's easy. We strive because it is hard. And he says it in that Boston accent, Massachusetts accent. I love that speech. And sometimes we are better leaders when we're a rebel and we do what's hard and we don't live on the layers of the onion and go down deep, and we pick out the things in life that are important and the people that are important. And I mean, share this stuff, you know. I've been sitting here corroborating and compiling and sitting here with some headphones on my ears for 4 or 5 years now, just trying to put all this together for myself and my people and my new practice, you know. Because I'm taking my coaching practice online, and I'm actually going to be doing these are precursors for videos that I'm going to be doing that I'm actually going to sell, you know, in a marketplace, to courses for people to help improve their life. And, you know, that's why I became a certified health and life coach, because there were so many things that I learned that they're really important and they're really missed, you know, like, for instance, why don't they teach any kind of finances to high school kids? You know, it's another one of those things. So, and yes, I do have a course that I'm working on for high school kids for that too. So, trying to make up for some of the stuff that, you know, I missed when I was growing up and maybe wasn't the best at teaching my kids. So, anyway, so now you have an idea of kind of why I'm doing all this. And I really and truly hope we've gone to 24 minutes. I swore it was only going to be 10 minutes, but there's too much information. It's too easy to try and relate this, and this, and maybe something will click and, you know, the light bulb will go on, or maybe it'll remind you of something you already knew. So, and for most of you, you're interested in food and health, and I mean, that sounds like a kooky thing to say, but if you're interested in being around for your grandkids, if you're interested for putting your pants on and they're not getting tighter, but they're getting looser, if you're interested in going to your doctor and getting good news from your labs for a change and find out that they're going this way instead of this way, then stick with me and, you know, keep tuning in. So, you know, got another week and a half or so to go, and I'm I'm gonna just put out as much information as I can because you guys are all my peeps. Anyway, love you. Hope you're having a great day, and we'll chat tomorrow.